RTD clan. Today I've got some alarming news for you about the state of the U.S. oil reserves, and it's not looking pretty. So brace yourselves because it's going to hit our wallets pretty hard this upcoming winter. Did our country seem to forget that the U.S. oil reserves are at their lowest level since 1985? There's so much going on in the world these days that the mainstream news seems to have forgotten about the almost depletion of our nation's oil reserves just a year ago. And so here we are now approaching winter of 2023, and no one seems to be taking this serious at all. This energy decline has been happening faster than ever in history. But hold on, it gets even worse. The Biden administration announced a plan to refill reserves almost a year ago with a target price of, say, $67 to $72 per barrel of crude oil. Well, guess what? We're currently almost 20% above that level, and it's concerning to say the least. Now, here's where things get really suspicious. The U.S. recently said that they're delaying refilling the reserves again, citing market conditions. Meanwhile, oil prices are soaring near a new 52-week high. So actually, what's their game plan here? It's kind of baffling to say the least. Adding to the chaos, OPEC leader Saudi Arabia is extending its oil production cut for another month. And guess what? This move threatens to drive gasoline and energy prices even higher heading into this winter. But it doesn't end there. Russia is also joining the party, announcing plans to cut oil exports by 300,000 barrels per day in September. It's like they're literally trying to play hardball with our wallets. Now here's the kicker. The U.S. and Europe are not being invited to the BRICS meeting of the most resource-rich nations in the next couple weeks. And let me tell you, whatever comes out of this meeting won't be in favor of the United States one bit. So what's the bottom line here? Brace yourselves for a winter of high gas prices and economic chaos, my friends. The world is shifting away from the dollar, and the U.S. is looking very vulnerable right now. China securing deals to pay for oil and their own currency, the yuan, is proof that this is something the world should take serious. It's clear that the global order is changing, and the U.S. can't just sanction its way out of this mess. They can't create more oil to restock the reserves in time for winter, and that's a problem. The days ahead for the petro standard may be numbered, and the U.S. needs to wake up to the reality of a new multipolar world, where the BRICS nations are forming alliances, and it's bad news for the dollar supremacy. So the SPR, or the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, is something that everybody should keep an eye on. Because as I mentioned months ago, it was no coincidence that the U.S. jumped in to try to save the world by basically depleting our oil. So here we are now, heading into a winter where gas prices are high, the nations are cutting us off from their oil. So what does that mean for our country? It's not looking pretty. But for some reason, it seems like that's a part of their plan. So basically, these days ahead may not be so cozy after all. The oil-rich nations, along with Russia and China, seem to have plans for how oil will be priced. And it's not looking good for us. So I just want to take a quick minute and share with you a story that no one seems to be talking about right now. And it's something that we should be aware of because we got winter coming up and it's going to be a mighty cold winter as well as costly. So basically, keep your ears open, keep your eyes on the swivel, do the best you can within your own control, and leave the rest up to the Lord. Because it's clear that after this summit in the next couple of weeks, we should be prepared for a dark winter that's coming for the U.S. once the BRICS solidify their agreements to replace the dollar officially. But anyway, just sharing my thoughts. I'm curious to hear yours. If you found any value here.
Continuing on, 100 nations have a global agreement now being deployed called Project Sandman to drop and end dominance of U.S. dollar and petrodollar. Now this is coming from the Miami Standard. 100 plus nations have a global agreement now being deployed called Project Sandman to drop and end dominance of U.S. dollar and petrodollar. So the currency war has gone live, as we've been talking about. But apparently there's already an agreement between 100 different nations to end the petrodollar status. I'm telling you guys, it's coming back home. We are going to feel it here in the United States, and we already are. Look at the gas pumps.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Quadash. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And third of all, I want to give for peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. Alright, so I just want to do a short lesson to how alone the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And this is going to be another edition of something to keep an eye on, which Lord Will's brothers just saw those two videos I played. The first one was from the guy Mike, which is channel. The name of his channel is Rethink the Dollar, which he spoke about how Saudi basically spoke about how Saudi for the second straight month has cut the oil reserves again, and also he mentioned in it the Biden administration has delayed refilling the oil reserves again, will have delayed it. He also mentioned Russia also joining the party and cutting the production of the oil, the barrels of oil that they put out. All right, and basically he spoke about the upcoming BRICS summit, and he also mentioned in that the U.S. and Europe is not invited to the summit. They're not allowed to come. All right. And the second video I played, which I don't know that guy, but he spoke about, which through the spirit of Bobby, how Bashim Yahushua spoken about a few times, Project Sandman, or Operation Sandman, which was pretty much an agreement that the OPEC nations, along with some other nations out there, all right, more than likely those BRIC nations, have come to an agreement to push the U.S. dollar out of the way, all right, and start accepting, basically to kill the petrodollar, to either push this petrodollar out the way all the way, or start accepting other currencies or other currencies or whatever for their oil, for their resources, all right, for the oil, all right. So Lord Will's brothers can see on the screen, and also the guy Mike mentioned, well, the BRICS summit is in 2 weeks, all right. Which again, we'll go ahead and read. It says BRICS Summit 2023, the quest for a new world order. All right. And this is only 2 weeks away. All right. And real quick, let me pause it again.